Ian, the codgers are back in their natural environment. I expect David Attenborough to be here talking about us.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while, but then I've been wandering around the States a lot. You've been up in East Anglia.
Holding the fort. You've been very busy.
I have been wandering
about.
I have. But we're back now, back in Blighty, back in London. Let's begin with 30 years since BT was privatised. This very week. What a hoot, eh? Who'd have thought it?
It sort of bookends my career, really. 1984 seems such a long time ago.
It is.
And it was. And it was the first big privatisation in the UK, really, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was. And it was height of Thatcherism.
Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher wanted us to be a shareholding democracy.
Yes.
Sort of. And
works
then it was advertised on the TV, and it was oversubscribed, and lots of people kept shares for a few days.
Yes.
And they went up in price, and they sold. Others kept them for longer and lost something, and it's bobbed about a bit.
Yes.
But overall, it's been pretty successful, I think.
I would say so. When you look at it now, at the environment we've got now, we have got a properly competitive environment.
Yeah.
And we have very low costs for broadband, which a lot of countries don't have.
Very true.
And it's worked. The grand scheme of competition has worked in the UK and
pretty well.
And of unbundling.
Absolutely.
Which is, I think, is very important.
But there's the new UK CTA Competitive Telecommunications report that's come out, which says the privatisation of the whole business of BT is a work in progress, like 30 years on, a bit like Michelangelo and the Sistine Chapel.
That's right.
Never actually finishes.
We never get to the
end of it. Also, of course, we should mention that they gave up on mobile 10, 11 years ago.
Exactly, yeah.
And now, finally, we thought it was weird at the time. I remember us both discussing it and writing about it and saying, why would you give up on mobile? You've got a mobile service. It's a thing, it's a coming thing.
Yes.
You know, why get rid of it? But they did.
Quite clearly, yeah.
And it became O2, of course, in due course. And O2 is incredibly successful.
Yeah.
And BT has suddenly decided it wants to be back in the mobile game.
That's right. Yeah. I think it's been working its way towards it for a while now. But yeah, they're making a major push. Almost like they know 30 years has gone by and they need to do the next thing, and that's going to be very interesting.
Well, they're looking to buy, they've admitted that they're looking to buy O2, which is going to be pricey to say the least of it. Yeah. And I don't know why Telefonica would want to get rid of it, quite honestly. And they're also looking to buy EE, which is the amalgam of Orange and the German Deutsche Telekom. Yeah, and that's a bit strange. Right? Yes. EE is 4G provider, but hasn't got the best reputation on the planet.
Well, they want one of them, and they've got to do what they want to do is emerge as a full 4-part quad play, to compete with all the other ones in the UK. So they feel that they need to have that.
And BT's been spending big on content and getting these all the football games and that kind of stuff, and their Infinity Home hubs and all that. Yeah. So interesting times.
It is.
Moving on swiftly, talking about Europe. Part of Europe, but not part of the EU, of course, is Norway. And you have been writing about the fact that looking at net neutrality, one of your favourite subjects, of course. So tell us about what Norway's up to.
Well, Norway's not part of the Union, as you know, and they've come out very strongly in favour of net neutrality. They have for a while. The way they've done it is they've introduced it as a sort of code that they've got all the carriers there to agree to, and I think it's a small country. They're used to working in this way, in a more informal way than we might.
Well, a big country with small population.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's worked very well for them. But it's interesting that they're very adamantly in favour of net neutrality, to the point where they're very keen on outlawing this idea of zero rating. And zero rating is actually picking up speed right across Europe. I think most of the countries in Europe are allowing it. And what it is you have a cap on your main mobile usage, which you set quite low. It's probably 500 or a gig a month.
Yeah.
A gig a month is nothing if you're going to be streaming movies across it. Yeah. So if you keep that cap in there, and then you have your own, or you have a partner's TV service that you're spraying over your network as well, you can make your TV service zero rated, and that makes it gives you a monopoly really.
It does, because there's no cap. It doesn't affect the cap.
No, it doesn't affect the cap, and nobody else can get in and do it over the internet.
Yeah.
So I think we should call that discriminatory, and shouldn't be allowed.
Damn Vikings.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, what they should do is have higher caps, maybe for a little bit more money. I mean, that seems to me a perfectly reasonable way of doing this. And then you can choose which streamer you want to use.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's another fight coming up over net neutrality, whether they should be allowed to do that or not. But I think it's going to be a tough fight, because a lot of people rather like the idea of having it. It doesn't have the same resonance as the traditional network neutrality arguments. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle, I think. And Martin, you've been in the States recently, as we've already discussed. And one of the big issues there at the time was Uber.
Oh God, Uber! This is the taxi, cab, ride sharing.
Yeah, it's a bit out of our area as normal.
It's based in San Francisco. It's mainly a data play.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And what it does, it links potential customers with potential rides. Not necessarily cabs. Could be anything. You don't know what you might be getting an 80-ton lorry for all you know. To take you somewhere. And it's now in over 200 cities and 45 countries around the world. And it's supposed to be worth $18.2 billion. God knows why, but it is, right? And of course they're getting a bit big for the boots. They're controversial, to say the least of it. And they've been collecting data, a lot of data, which is supposed to be anonymised, but it turns out it isn't all that anonymised, because this guy, their senior VP, Emil Michael, was at a dinner with a bunch of journalists and thought he was talking off the record when he wasn't. As we all know, you make very explicit when you're talking off the record. He didn't do that. So he whittled on and started saying how angry he was with some journalists who've been criticising the company. He decided he was going to spend $1 million of the company's money to check up on these journalists and basically threaten themselves and the families. He wanted to investigate them and sort of hold them to ransom or something. So don't report about us, we're going to tell you your grubby secrets and all the rest of it. And so it's caused a hell of a furore.
Yes.
He's been forced to grovel and cringe and apologise and said he didn't mean it, which of course he did, but he got caught out. So it's very, very unpleasant stuff, and it's all about the fact that they're very cavalier in their attitude to data protection and the privacy of data.
Yes.
One guy said, well, hang on, if you do this, do you not think you're making a rod for your own back? And he actually said, no one would ever know it was us. Well, we do now, don't we? And of course the last bit, yesterday's news, which I just loved most of all. We've all known HP for a long time, and we've known Carly Fiorina and seen her in action. I have particularly a few times. And it's now transpired that she wants to run as a Republican candidate for the presidency of the United States. Dear God.
Well, she's the right age for it, isn't she?
She's the right age, yeah.
60?
Yeah. Well, she says she says she's non-political, even though she's run for the Senate in California and lost mightily on a very right-wing ticket, and lost. But now she's talking about wanting to run for president. And if that happens, well, you can have a country to ruin instead of a company.
Ooh.
Anyway, we're coming to the end of another Codgers. It's time we had some of this. It's extremely strong end-of-year beer.
Too much talking and not enough drinking.
I know, it's called Red-Nosed Rudolph Very Strong Ale or something. So here we go. Cheers, Ian.
Cheers.